Hi guys, welcome back to We Should Talk, a pop culture interview series from In the Know. I'm your host Gibson Johns, and it has been snowing for days in New York City, and I have not left my apartment in like 48 hours. But you know what? I just did not sign up for this shit. I do not want to go outside of my apartment, have to trudge through the snow just to get anywhere. I am loaded up on groceries. I'm warm in here. I can do a little workout in here. That's all I need to do. But I will say, because of this frickin' snowstorm, my internet went out in the middle of an interview just now. I was interviewing another former Bravo star who people love for next week's podcast, and my Zoom kept going out. And that's because of the frickin' snow cutting my internet out. Thank you, Spectrum. I'm going to have to call you after this. But no, so it's literally a blizzard happening in New York City. So if you're on the East Coast, you know what I'm talking about. The struggle is real. But you know what? More time in my apartment means more time to watch TV, and I've been watching a lot of it. Just a couple quick recommendations before we get into this week's episode. One is Lupin, however you want to pronounce it. It's a French series on Netflix. It's the first 5 episodes which is, I think, the first half of the first season, they're saying. It is such a good show. It's this French story about a guy who robs the Louvre and sort of everything that comes after that. And it's just so well done. It's such a good vibe. It's really unique, and I couldn't recommend it enough. I'm also loving Flack on Amazon Prime, which is about celebrity publicists and just all the crazy shit they cover up and how they cover it up, and just sort of all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes with celebrities that we don't know. It's just crazy. So definitely watch that show. And then also, if you have not watched Promising Young Woman on Amazon, where you have to pay $20 extra to watch it, I promise you it is worth it. I know people don't like to pay for their media these days or pay extra beyond the subscription monthly service fee, whatever. Pay that $20, watch it. It is life-changing. Carey Mulligan is a revelation. The soundtrack's amazing. What it's saying about how men and women interact and dating and relationships is just pretty groundbreaking, and it's just such a great movie. And one last recommendation is In and of Itself on Hulu. It is this guy, Derek DelGaudio, who had performed the show in New York for a while, and I know a lot of people that went. I remember seeing it on Instagram. I never got to go. Stephen Colbert went once, and he decided to produce something and get it filmed. And when I tell you, I was left in a puddle of tears after watching this. I don't want to say too much because that's what they tell you. They tell you watch this and don't tell people about what to expect. Just tell them to watch it. Put your phone down, literally. And I'm saying put your phone down. Don't watch this distracted. I think it's like an hour and a half. It is really, really, really well done. And it just gets you thinking, and it's so emotionally affecting. There's some magic in there, and that's kind of all I'll say. But definitely watch that, and don't look it up beforehand. This week on the podcast, we have the amazing Lindsay Hubbard from Bravo's Summer House. Today, Thursday, February 4th, Summer House premieres on Bravo at 9 p.m., Season 5. And Lindsay has been on since the beginning. I've known Lindsay for several years now because I've interviewed people from Summer House since Season 1. I started interviewing her in the second season. But so now we've become sort of friends, and I just love Lindsay. I think she is such a dynamic presence, both on and off screen. She's an amazing reality TV star, but she is also a really fun person in real life. And so it was really fun to have her on the podcast to catch up, talk all about Season 5 of Summer House. She has a huge relationship update. We'll see her sort of struggling with that in this season as her boyfriend, Steven, joins them in the house. So basically for Season 5 of Summer House, I wasn't actually sure if they were ever going to be able to film it or if they were going to have to take a summer off because of the pandemic, but they decided to do a 6-week quarantine house with the entire cast, a couple of sort of plus ones as well, and I think it's just going to create for like a really amazing season of reality TV. And one of those extra people is Lindsay's boyfriend. We also have a new addition, Sierra. And it's just like the season premiere of Summer House is really amazing, and it sets up this season to be really great. The drama is like going to be amazing, and I can't wait for it. So I talked all about that with Lindsay Hubbard. I also had her look back sort of at Summer House, the first 5 seasons of Summer House, which, have been very different. The Summer House journey has been sort of an up and down one. It started pretty low because the first 2 seasons, they just didn't have the right cast. I think it was really based on like a real friend group, but something about it did not pop on camera. There was kind of some darkness there. It just didn't really work, and it took them a little bit of time to figure out sort of what was gonna, I mean, because the premise of this show is so promising. It's a share house in the Hamptons for a summer. All these people that just like love to drink rosé and party and go to the beach and hook up with one another. Like, yeah, sign me the fuck up. But you know, you have to have the right people for that. And finally, in season 3, with the additions of Paige and Hannah and Jordan, and some of the other people were taken away, it started to begin to work. And I think ever since then, the show has really had this steady rise, and it's just like continues to outdo itself. And, you know, Lindsay has been sort of at a big reason for that, because Lindsay kind of pushes some of the drama forward. She isn't afraid to say what everyone else is thinking. She has a fiery personality. She's a Leo just like me. And it was just really fun. It's really always really fun to talk to her about Summer House because she's so open and she has some good perspective on it. So before we get to the interview though, you know, talking to her and thinking about sort of my personal journey with Summer House made me realize that I forgot about something. Before the 4th season, I actually did a casting call for Summer House. It was just the first round. A producer reached out to me on Instagram. We set up a call. And you know what? I wasn't really sort of like that interested in being on the show. I don't think, you know, I don't really think it is for me. But I was sort of like, you know what? I've always been curious about how this process works. So why not, you know, say yes to this call, hear the kinds of questions they ask, get a little peek behind the curtain. I likely won't get all the way through to the point where like I'll have to decide if I even want to be on the show or not. But it was just like kind of an interesting first phone call. So I took the phone call with the producer. I don't think I've told that many people about this, but you know, the guy was a very nice guy. And he sort of like asked some pretty brazen, you know, straightforward questions about my dating life. You know, what kind of guys I'm interested in, you know, what's my friend group like? What do I do for work? What do I do outside of work? Is there drama in my life? Like all these different things. And it was just it's so crazy that they ask those things just right off the bat. Like they really want to know everything about your life, but you know, to see if you're a good fit for these shows. And I think a lot of it is just kind of seeing how open you are and how much you're willing to share. And I don't think that I was willing to share enough of my life to make the cut. So he actually ended up like ghosting me basically. But again, nice guy, but he had to do his job and move on. But yeah, I totally forgot about that phone call until like basically just now, and figured I would share. If I remember more stuff about that, I will definitely let you guys know. But anyway, keep listening for my full interview with Lindsay Hubbard from Summer House, season 5 of which premieres on Bravo Thursday, February 4th at 9 p.m. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Enjoy, guys. All right, so we're here with Lindsay Hubbard from Summer House, aka my best friend, as she requested to be introduced as. Lindsay, yeah, how are you?
Hi, Gibson.
How's it going?
I'm glad you included that because
I had to.
I just wanted the people to know that we tried to hang out 4th of July, but we didn't, but we tried to, and therefore we're best friends.
Hey, as long as the effort's there, you know, it's hard when you're with your family and you're quarantined and all that, and you're trying to hang out with friends, but...
Yeah, you were playing hard to get. I was like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is our schedule. This is like, do you want to come on
I'm being called out.
And you're
Lindsay,
like, oh, hey, sorry, I'm busy.
Putting me on blast. Well, now we're both in the city, so maybe we'll find some time to hang out. How are you? You look great. I feel like, how's your year off? How's 2021 treating you so far?
Oh my God. I don't even know what's happening. I feel like there's so much drama already and it's not even February. We haven't even aired yet. Like our season's not even on TV.
I know.
Here we are.
I know. Well, first of all, also, you see I'm wearing this Montauk sweatshirt just for you.
I love it.
This is to honor
Maybe
Summer House. And I'm ready to sort of like live vicariously through you guys. It's cold AF right now. So I'm ready to like think it's summer. That's sort of I always love when Summer House comes around because it sort of does bring that sunniness and that summer drama to our winters these days.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I mean, again, you've been on Summer House since season 1, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Summer House has continued this like upward trajectory. It has this momentum, and I was worried that, you know, when the pandemic hit and we were thinking about what's going to happen to all of our shows, and like I kind of thought for a while that you guys just weren't going to be able to shoot last summer and you're going to have to take the summer off. And then ultimately you guys decided to do this quarantine pod for 6 weeks together. Talk to me about sort of like your own mentality when it came to filming and like thinking you might not be able to do it, knowing that you were like finding out that it was going to happen. Talk me through like what that was like sort of in the springtime for you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, when COVID hit in March, you don't really know anything that's going to happen. Like we were basically told like, as New York City, like we're going to shut down for a couple of weeks and then go from there. And, I guess we could have done a better job predicting that it was going to be a lot longer than 2 weeks. But, it's even now, almost a year later, like we are still sort of in this weird gray area flux, like not knowing when restaurants are going to open back up.
Totally.
So when it comes to filming, our show, and it's sort of right in the middle of, COVID, it's, we weren't sure like what was going to happen, but I'm glad it all worked out. And I know that we were probably one of the first productions on Bravo that was able to actually
I think you were, yeah.
film. I mean, I feel like we've been preparing for this moment for the last 4 years, right? Like,
for sure. Just lock you guys in the house.
Just put people in a house together and see what happens. So I think that like the production and the crew did such a great job of making sure that safety was a top priority.
Mm-hmm.
I felt extremely safe. I'm of course like a little bit less COVID sensitive than other people. Like I'm just like out there trying to do as best as I can to not like, fall into a depression. And, so it was so nice to be able to get out of the city and to the Hamptons and have your friends around you for the first time in months.
So when you heard that you guys were going to be quarantined in this house, not leaving for 6 weeks, it was obviously it's a total upgrade on the house. First of all, the house is stunning. It's huge. But when you first heard that, who were you sort of like, oh, like I have to be locked with this person for 6 weeks? Like who was the first person that you maybe like weren't looking forward to being in quarantine with?
I mean, well, I don't know that my absolute first thought was like, how am I going to have sex with my boyfriend if there are cameras surrounding us, for 6 weeks straight, 24/7.
Right.
I don't know. I don't really like, obviously like I had a little tension with Hannah.
Yeah. Built
up, from the fall, winter, spring, which is, all stuff that you guys are not necessarily privy to. But I wasn't like, oh, I don't want to be in a house with her. It was more just like, I know I'm going to have a tough conversation with her pretty early on because we are going to be living together and we have to work through that. But I didn't really, think in my mind, like, there's not one person that I want to be around. Like,
it was more excitement to be with the group probably. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was just more excited. I was also like super excited to, be living with Danielle. She's probably like one of my best friends who I didn't get to see a lot during, the first iteration of COVID. So I was just like so happy to be reunited with her.
Yeah, she to me is like the ride or die. Like I feel like you guys just like nothing's really ever going to get between you guys, and it's nice that you have her to depend on regardless of what else is going on in the house.
Yeah, I mean, look, friendship, especially best friendship takes time to nurture and, sort of like get the puzzle pieces together. And like you have to like train each other on how to be a best friend to that person, right? Like she trains me on how to be a good friend to her, and I do the same for myself. So, we really are ride or die at this point, but that's not to say that, we had to go through a couple of speed bumps to get there.
Of course. So again, you're being locked in this house for 6 weeks. It's a new house. We have some new additions to the permanent group. Your boyfriend Stravy came along for the summer. Sierra came with Luke, she's also a cast member. Danielle was around for every weekend, and usually she sort of bumps in and out. So it really is a full house this time. And I think you say in the premiere that that was sort of like a test for how you and your boyfriend could have living together, because you weren't living together at the time. What was that like okay, yeah, like I'm definitely going to have him come with me? Was there sort of a discussion there? What was sort of your mindset in terms of like including him in this full summer with you?
Totally. So there are multiple layers to this answer, right? So like initially, the first thing I want to say is I would never in my life at this point in my early 30s, I would never pick up and go move to a house in the Hamptons with my friends and not invite my boyfriend to be there. Right.
For sure.
So like, that was like, number one is like, hey, like I'm doing this. I would really like for you to be there with me. And then number two, like, I do think that whatever we were going through, before moving into the house, like that was already sort of happening due to COVID and, putting our relationship at the forefront of our minds without distraction. I sort of wanted, help in evaluating and understanding, like, could I move forward at the end of this summer, and I need my friends for that, right? Like I need like witnesses basically.
Absolutely.
And so it was kind of a test, and as Danielle calls it, she goes, I think it was a Hail Mary pass that you didn't really know you were throwing because obviously we've had some time to reflect from the summer and thinking back on it, I'm like, wow, maybe you're right. Like maybe I was sort of looking for, a little bit of outside help in making any big decisions that needs to be made because, at this point, like any momentous decisions, like you don't want to make impulsively. So
absolutely not. Yeah.
But like, look, it was really challenging. I think living together, working side by side, being in the same room, being under the same roof and not really, although it was a huge house, when you're sharing a room with somebody, you don't have that much space. And, the relationships in front of the camera are really put to the test. And unfortunately, things with Steven didn't work out. As I'm sure you read in the news. But
yeah,
it
did pop up.
Like, I feel like, we wound up going our separate ways. And I do think he's a really great guy. But it just didn't work for me. And I wish him nothing but happiness. I think we both genuinely deserve to be happy. And unfortunately, that just was not with each other.
Good. Well, again, I think it's so good that you did get that experience because like you just said, it's like there are so many things that are almost work against you in a scenario like that, which are the cameras, which are working and sleeping and living in one room. Everyone got their one room in this house other than that big grand, main space. And so it's like, God, like I can't even imagine what that would have been like. So one, I think it's great that you tested it out. And two, it's like, I'm glad you guys sort of at least ended on some sort of good terms. And I think you're right. You're sort of at this place in your life where it's like, I think we've seen you in different relationships over the years. And I think in some past ones, like with Everett, for example, like it wasn't as decisive. And I feel like it wasn't as like, he would come back in and out. And it's like, I think that, it seems like you're in a pretty decisive place in your life. And I like that. Yeah.
Like the one, I guess a lot of people can view it negatively of how it impacts couples, but I almost view, how COVID has impacted relationships and couples in more of a positive way because it's sort of a looking glass, especially when you're in a little bit of a transitional point in your relationship, where, you're not living together. There's no marriage, there's no baby. So it is kind of a looking glass into like what your potential future could be. And like,
totally,
is this going to work or not? So unfortunately, for us, it didn't work. But I also am very happy that we were able to sort of have this opportunity to figure that out before there was some real attachments involved.
And there's also, the trailer hints at something that happens between you and Luke. Like, I don't know what goes down there, Lindsay, but there is maybe a bathroom moment that is teased. What can you tell me about you and Luke? Did you guys hook up this summer, or is it going to be a wait and see moment?
It's definitely going to be a wait and see moment, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it either.
I'm sort of like, what is it about Luke? I feel like everyone sort of has their eyes on Luke sometimes. I'm just like, he's
a good looking guy. Come on.
He totally is.
And he's also like a big flirt, right?
Yeah.
So, it's hard not to flirt with the guy, and he's so good looking, and you guys you'll have to see. You'll have to see.
Well, I feel like that must not make it easier for things between you and Hannah, probably, because you like you said, I mean, and we'll see this in the premiere, you sort of come into the house with some tension between you guys, and we'll find out sort of why that is. And I feel like, with you and Hannah, again, I've interviewed both of you multiple times, and I feel like you both have this really big. You're both Leos, right? Am I right in saying that? So am I.
And actually the day right after mine. I'm August 11th and she's August 12th.
And I'm August 16th. I know the Leo energy. And I feel like sometimes Leo and Leo energy, it can work really, really well sometimes. And then sometimes it's just too much of personality in one space. And I feel like that sometimes you guys have your great moments where it's so fun to watch you guys together. But then also it's not surprising that I think you can butt heads sometimes. Yeah. Talk to me, to parse out this relationship with Hannah with me, because I feel like there's a lot there, and it has been sort of a bumpy road for you guys over the past couple summers.
Yeah, I mean, I think for starters, Hannah and I have a very sisterly relationship where you get along really well. Like, you feel like no one else in the world can understand you except for each other. But then you can also, fight like cats and dogs with each other, and then you make up. And right. I feel like out of anyone, like, we sort of have that relationship. I do also think, Hannah, this will be her third season. And I think, with her, like, she had to sort of figure out, like, her place within our friend group. And sometimes, she questioned, like, my sort of, help in that, or she sort of threw me under the bus, like, which was like really hurtful for me, because I was just only ever trying to help her, and, felt like I had her back. But, I think a lot of maybe the arguments that Hannah and I have had over the last year is mostly just like her saying something that wasn't, truth, and her accusing me of something that I didn't do. And it just, it sucks when that happens, because it's really hurtful. And like, you're over here like, man, like, I really love Hannah, and I've been there for her, and I view her as a sister and a friend. And I feel like I'm starting to realize she doesn't view me that way. And I don't know what I did. And, then you find out about it on various social media platforms, right. And I just don't operate like that. Like, anyone who knows me knows I'm a very direct, straightforward person. Like, where you stand with me at all times. If I'm upset with you, I tell you to your face. And so it's hard for me to understand when people don't operate like that. It causes tension, and it causes, arguments. But I think throughout the years, we're getting better at understanding how to communicate with each other.
Yeah, I think it's nice that you say that it's a sister relationship, because I do think that, like, honestly, out of everybody in the house, that's sort of what it is, sort of like a sister dynamic, and creates for good TV, if anything. So, but I do think the connection does seem really, really deep and great. So, a person that you go way back with, and who's been on the show also with you since season 1, is Karl. And I feel like we have seen Karl go through a huge transformation over the years, for the better and for worse. And I feel like coming into this season, I feel like I'm seeing a new Karl, and I feel like he is in such an amazing place, and he looks great. He has a good attitude. He seems really driven in his career, and sort of like he has his head on more so than I've seen him in years past. And as somebody who knows him so well, I'm curious, it must feel pretty good to see Karl in this state, because you guys have also had your own history. But talk to me about what it was like to see Karl coming into this season, just, in such a good place in his life.
I'm so proud of Karl, just for the personal growth and steps he is taking within himself to be a better version of himself. And I'm also really excited for viewers to see this version of him, because it's something that I have seen for years and years and years, but that's because I'm privy to hanging out with him, during the week, or, off camera, or, in the fall, winter, spring. And I know how amazing and genuine and great friend he is. But I'm excited for viewers to see that part of him. And, unfortunately for Karl in the seasons, of the past, he might have drank too much or said things that he didn't mean and regret. And I am happy that he is able to put his best foot forward in a way that the rest of the world can sort of see that like beautiful soul that he has, like we do.
Totally. And I think, I think if you think back to some of the decisions that he made in the past, and then you see where he is now, it sort of makes sense as to sort of, he wasn't in a great place before. And it makes sense that he made these kind of bad decisions or just like wasn't thinking before he acted. And so, again, I just as a viewer, I feel like we're also invested in this, in you guys, especially because you've been around since the beginning. And we've really seen the transformation. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for him too. And he's really focused on his mental health, and he is going to therapy, and he's like really just grown so much. And I'm just so happy and proud of him.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think back to you guys went into season 4 kind of romantically involved, and like you were in this place in your relationship where it wasn't just friendship. How do you think back to that, slight moment in your history with Karl, now that we're sort of pretty far out from it?
I think Karl and I are so lucky that we were able to, lay down a foundation of friendship for years before anything slightly romantic ever came into play. And, so we're really lucky that we, after everything was said and done and the romantic version of Carlito and Hub House didn't work out, we bounced back pretty quickly. And I'd venture to say that once we went back to being friends, we actually were closer as friends than we were before anything romantic happened. So we're very lucky. I know that doesn't happen to most people, but I think that we both put an extreme value on our friendship, more so than anything else in the world, and we're able to be there for each other through thick and thin. Totally.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see more of that. And somebody who I'm also really excited about is Sierra, who is the new addition to the house this summer. And I love that her descriptor is nurse/model. Like, to me, that just it's like she can do it all. Like, she has all these, it already seems like she has all these different sides to her. What can we expect from Sierra as she joins the house? I guess as Luke's, she was brought in as Luke's kind of +1, but now she's a full-time cast member. So what can we expect from Sierra?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Sierra showed up to the house, it was just like nothing but positive vibes and a big smile. And, she just like really fit right in. And Good. I think it's also like interesting because she's a nurse, and she was like, in the middle of COVID, of the height of COVID, like on the front lines, like, trying to save lives. And, so she over summer decided to take a break and a much needed vacation from being a frontline nurse to, come out to the Hamptons with us. And it can't be easy walking in to an already formed group of friends, and you're the only one who, is sort of new to the house this summer. And, I think, that comes with its own challenges, but she took it with an amazing stride. And obviously, I don't really know if she was aware of, kind of the dynamic between Luke and other people in the house. But, that's something that I'm myself excited to see how that kind of works itself out between, this
totally.
Sort of love
triangle.
Oh my
God. I was going to say, it seems like Karl sort of has his eyes on her maybe, but also Luke certainly has his eyes on her. But Luke has also been sort of keeping up something with Hannah. It's unclear where everything stands, but clearly she's sort of the apple of some people's eye in this house. And so I'm excited to see it. There's some sort of love triangle, square, whatever forming.
Totally. Square for sure.
Okay. That I like that. It's gonna be a square. Okay, so looking back, again, we're at season 5 of Summer House. And I think if you had asked me in maybe the first or second season, which honestly feels like a different show to me, if you had asked me whether we were going to get 5 seasons of Summer House, if hopefully more, I don't know if I would have said yes, just because I don't think that you guys had figured out the ultimate dynamic of like what the show could be, and you hadn't found the fully correct group of people. And I think that starting in season 3 and now into 5, it really has, again, like been on this upward trajectory with this really awesome momentum that I'm so glad you guys got to film last summer. When you think back to those first 2 seasons, does it feel, as somebody who was in it, does it feel like it was a different show? Does it feel just sort of like a past life? Sort of how do you look back on those first 2 seasons? Because it is such a different vibe.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that obviously goes into making our show. And I think like the number one thing is the dynamic of, you know, the friends who are in the house. And the show started originally with Kyle and mine and Karls' group of friends.
Right.
You know, so but then you have to add in the production factor and you know, season 1 we were in a different house, and then we had a different, you know, showrunner, and then season 2 we were in a different house and had a different showrunner, you know, so there's a lot that kind of goes into like what can help make a show successful. But I think ultimately it comes down to the dynamic of the friends in the house and the group of people that you're living with and the chemistry that we have together. And you know, so I think that it took a little bit of time to sort of get to that point with our group of friends and find the right energy. And then from there, I really do think that we like got our footing and then like got into a groove and finally started hitting our strides with like all things combined. And, you know, there's a lot of trust that goes into it, you know, from every standpoint. And you just honestly have to be as like, you know, authentic of yourself as possible. I think that's the only way that you can possibly go on a TV show and share your life with the world, is if you're just honest with yourself. And, you know, look, sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes, you know, we are not perfect. And a lot of times we're not perfect, but we are human. And I think it's just a matter of learning from our mistakes, reflecting. And we do have that beautiful opportunity to reflect on our lives. Like a lot of people don't have that. Like I can watch this season and be like, wow, I could have handled that differently, or I could do this differently, or I won't make that mistake again. You know, whereas a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So I'm really thankful for, you know, where the show has come. I do feel like from where it started to where it is now, it's a lifetime ago and is complete 180. And, you know, I think that it's in a really good place for the future.
It's funny. Yeah, it is really like what you said earlier. It's like the show really is a microscope on your life. And it also is sort of like a home video of your life as well. So it's like to have, you're getting these memories filmed. And 2, it's like you are seeing these things that, you know, if you don't like something about yourself or you see like a bad habit of yours that you have, you can change that because you're seeing it back. And it really is a tool it honestly is a tool for self-improvement if you think about it in an optimistic way like that.
Totally. And like I've been in therapy for years, you know, even before the show, but probably more since
more needed because of the show, right?
You know, but it is part of, you know, a therapeutic work of just like, you know, looking back on things and understanding your emotions and feelings and who you want to be and what mark you want to make on the world, you know, as a person.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And I think honestly, an example of that, I mean, both you and Karl are examples of that, but I also think that Kyle and Amanda are an example of that because they have like really been through the ringer for the past 5 years, and they have aired out so much dirty laundry, and they have probably taken so much shit from viewers about their relationship. And they are in an amazing place this season, it seems. Again, what's it like watching that? And because you've also you've been the shoulder for them to cry on sometimes. You have been in the middle of that, and as everyone kind of has been dragged into that at some point.
Totally.
You know, talking about Kyle and Amanda.
They were so cute this summer, and I was so happy to see, you know, that they, you know, maybe they weren't in a great place, you know, a couple of years ago, but it seems like they've really gotten back to a great place. And it was so cute to see. I mean, they were just like, you know, doting on each other a lot, and it was sweet. And, you know, I've always rooted for them, and it can't be easy. You know, I had a relationship season 1 and then, you know, again this year, but to have your life during the summer and your main sort of like focus be about your relationship. It's a very personal situation, you know, like, no, you know, it's like, who knows what happens behind closed doors in any relationship. Right. And like to have that be the last 5 years of your life, it's just like really nice and fun to root them on for their success. And I just can't wait to see, you know, like I honestly like want them to have babies. I'm like,
well, I'm also like, I want the wedding. I want to see that, you know, and it was supposed to happen last fall, I guess. So I hope that we get that sometime soon.
Yeah. I mean, I really feel for any engaged couple, any relationship who, you know, had to sort of postpone all of your wedding plans, bachelorette plans. Like this was a hard year. And I feel for them. Like they, you know, the first time around their venue dropped. And then this time around it was because it was 2020 and it was COVID. So, you know, you're just like, oh my God, you just like
can't catch a break.
Like, yeah, they couldn't catch a break.
Totally.
Really rooting for them.
Yeah. Well, Lindsay, I want to end with a couple fun questions. So you've been in the Bravo universe for 5 years now.
Yeah.
What other stars from other shows have you really connected to and really become friends with? Are there people that you have in your orbit that you like to text now and then, or that you kind of have really struck up genuine friendships with? On
other Bravo shows?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really close with Austen from Southern Charm. We probably talk like 3 to 5 times a week.
Okay. Well, Lindsay, okay. Have you heard about the drama? Come on. I mean, like,
did I hear about the drama?
What's Austen telling you about the drama?
I got dragged into the drama. Apparently,
when were you dragged into it?
So I had commented like, just, I'm confused on like an Instagram entertainment news,
right?
You know, Instagram account. And apparently, which I had no idea, Madison had responded to my comment. And that was the only thing that she ever said across the board. And I was like, what? So Austen had called me last weekend, and he was like, Lindsay, Madison responded to your comment on this Instagram account. And I was like, she did what? I'm so confused. Now I'm even more confused.
Right.
And Madison, I guess, was just like, call me, sis. Like, you know, I'll give you all the tea. And I'm like, huh? Like,
but you're the one that's friends with Austen.
Also, like, Austin's my best friend, and I talk to Austen, you know, 3 to 5 times a week. I don't even have Madison's number. So I was just like, I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting dragged into this, like, you know, weird drama. It's just not for me. I have my own shit going on.
Right,
I don't
exactly.
have to deal with, like, you know, somebody latching onto me for like, no.
Okay. So Austen,
yes,
okay. So we're friends with Austen. Are there any other people that you've been able to really connect with?
Yeah, I'm close with Katie Maloney from Vanderpump. You know, I text with Kristen here and there. You know, Stassi obviously is busy, but I have her number. We used to text a little bit more. So I don't know. Like, I think it's just like mostly the shows where, you know, you're sort of in the same age range and same, you know, sort of drama within your friend group.
Absolutely. And, it makes sense. I think at some point we need the Southern Charm, and this, I guess Austen, did he come to a party last year?
Yeah. Okay. So Austen
to a party and Craig, right? But I feel like you guys need to go down there. I
could not agree more. I've actually never been to Charleston, and neither has Karl. We've been talking about trying to plan a trip, and I've been talking to Austen about it too. And then also Everett moved to Charleston, so I'm like trying to figure it out. But I do think I'm gonna make my way down there in the next couple of months. Probably stay with Everett and his girlfriend, and then hang out with all those.
I love that. Last 2 questions. One, what's a TV show that you've watched recently that you're recommending to people? What's something because we're all streaming like everything these days. What's something that you've watched recently that you really liked?
Okay, I've seen it all. Well, where do I start? All right, so I gotta say, all right, so Netflix. I'm currently watching The Barrier. I believe it was filmed in Spain, so there's a little bit of like a dubbing sort of subtitle situation. So The Barrier on Netflix. I have seen Dickinson on Apple TV.
I love Dickinson. I just watched that.
Yeah, it's super easy, 30-minute episodes, only 2 seasons so far. And it's just like a fun way to learn about Emily Dickinson's life, but in more of a modern way.
Totally.
With Haley Steinfeld. What else? I just started, there was another one on Amazon. Oh, I saw Peanut Butter Falcon, which is a movie with Shia LaBeouf I saw that on Amazon Prime, which I just loved. I mean, obviously, I know Shia gets a lot of heat, but I did love
it's a good movie.
A little bit of a different, more nurturing type of role that you would not expect. What else? Monarcha. I went down this whole entire British.
Love that for you, journey, right?
It was I went down a whole journey of all the British inspired, TV shows and period pieces. So I started with Bridgerton. Obviously I've seen that 3 times, and then no less. And then I wound up watching The English Game. Very easy watch. It's on Netflix. It is about how the game of soccer or football came to be a sport, which was really interesting.
Awesome.
It comes with different facts. It's only 6 episodes. Loved that. And then from that, I started watching The Crown, and I breezed through all 4 seasons of The Crown, and was just
the best show. It's just the best show. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. The most recent season was really iconic.
I guess maybe I'm just all about all of the history of, Great Britain.
I feel like honestly, maybe next on your list should be something more reality TV level British vibes. So maybe Love Island.
Love Island. I know that Hannah and Paige watched Love Island a lot at night and stuff this past summer, and they loved it. They couldn't get enough of it.
So funny.
But no, I like to escape the reality TV world.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. And last question, 2020 was a doozy for everyone. A lot of people's plans got thrown in the dumpster, and hopefully 2021 is better at some point for us. What's something you're looking forward to this year? What's something you're looking forward to in the future for yourself?
Honestly, traveling. I just can't wait to go sit on a beach, in Mexico. I was actually texting Katie Maloney, the other day about it. And she's like, hey, we're going to Cabo in March. And I was like, okay, perfect. I'm coming. You
gotta go.
I just honestly, I would like to travel. I'd love to get abroad. 2020 was the first year in a very long time that I wasn't able to leave the US, and explore other cultures. So that's really, what I would just
be so nice. Totally. Well, Lindsay, it was so fun to catch up. And I know.
Tell people now that you're back in the city,
I know, absolutely. I'm coming over to that amazing apartment you're in right now. Lindsay, tell people where they can follow you to get more from you outside of Summer House.
Oh yeah, Instagram's sort of my most popular and active platform. At Lindsay Hubs. Same with Twitter. Facebook, I don't even know. Facebook
Instagram's the most important. That's all we need. Yeah. And then everyone make sure to tune into Summer House, the season 5 premiere on Bravo. We can't wait.
And then subscribe, rate, review, relate,
absolutely.
What else?
Run down the line for me. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Listen to this podcast over and over.
Exactly.
Tag me.
Well, Lindsay, it's amazing talking to you, and we'll have you back sometime soon, maybe later on the season. So
okay, perfect. And if not, then July 4th, you're not bailing on me.
2021 July 4th, me and Hub House, we're doing it big.
Exactly, I love it.
All right, love it. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. For more celebrity interviews, subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what you heard, please rate and review us, as any show of support you can give us would be greatly appreciated. You can follow me at Gibsonoma on Twitter and Instagram, and you can follow In The Know at In The Know on Twitter and at Watch In The Know on Instagram. We'll talk to you next time.